Hello and welcome this evening. This is Dr. Brenda Roach, but you can call me Brenda. And I am a neuropsychologist by trade, and I also have a health and wellness company where I help individuals and groups outline their health and wellness goals, as well as then helping them achieve those health and wellness goals. So if you're tuning in, please let me know where you're from. Give me some thumbs up. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're catching this by replay, put hashtag replay down below. And again, let me know where you're tuning in from. If you find this to be helpful, please let me know that. And if you think other people, hey Rosie, glad you joined me. If you also think that this could be helpful for other people, please feel free to share it as well. So I got you down in Texas, Rosa. It must be kind of hot and humid down there right now. So I feel for you. Hope to see you soon back in Montana, and thinking about you and your family as well. Hey Chris, glad you're joining me. So tonight what I'm going to be talking about is addiction. Hey Amanda, glad you joined me. And addiction is, what is an addiction? An addiction really is, it's a physical or an emotional drive for a substance. And that substance really can be a drug, but it also can be the neurochemicals that are released in your brain from an emotional state that we're going to talk about as well. And over time, what happens is our body craves more because it reaches an addiction tolerance. So an addict always wants a little bit more or a little bit different, which is why doses are higher, larger doses are required. And that can be, again, for either the physical drug or for our emotional state. And we need more of our neurotransmitters and neurochemicals to be released. And stress can cause trauma, and it can really trigger that trauma. And in order to not feel emotional pain, addiction often becomes the escape. And so the addiction really is just a way to avoid pain. And again, that can be physical pain, emotional pain, and addiction can become a conditioned behavior. And we see that a lot that happens. One most common one is food addiction. And food addiction is the most common addiction that starts as a conditioned behavior in childhood. And since it's so readily accessible, hey Jennifer, glad you're joining me. Since it's, food is so readily available, food is often used as a drug of choice. And so why do people become addicts? And that's to, drugs or substances or other things that I'm going to talk about as well, food and other things. So in our brain, we have these, hey, Lori, glad you joined me. We have a set of neurons that really fire and are wired together based on familiar feelings. And we become addicted to certain substances or activities that can really kind of stuff our pain. And so we utilize different type of addictions that I'm going to talk about tonight to really kind of cover up. Hey Pandora, glad you joined me. Again, if you find this helpful, give me some thumbs up. Let me know that you're finding it helpful as well. Share it with other people that you think this might be beneficial for. So again, when we become addicted, we really use whatever substance or whatever activity to really stuff the pain that we're feeling. And oftentimes, our past ends up being the anchor that really drags us under, holds us down, and keeps us stuck. And so much of the pain we experience really can be physical, but a large percentage is emotional. And for a lot of people, it can be both as well. And this process is the way really we become hardwired to be an addict. So the main kind of addictions that, I've seen over, in my career on working with people, including myself on some of these, are procrastination, which some people don't think of as an addiction, but it can be a real addiction. Drama and chaos, overeating or undereating, being overwhelmed. People can be addicted to being overwhelmed. Of course, the illegal drugs or pharmaceutical medications, alcohol. And then those really can branch off into other addictions such as compulsive spending or compulsive gambling, compulsive debt, compulsive sex, compulsive compulsions, disappointment, conflict, and neurotic behavior. And so all of these things can really be considered addictions. And so think about addictions and consider this situation around smoking. If we think about smoking as, a possible addiction, and if you smoke and you hide your smoking, Factor how much time it actually takes throughout the day to be an addict with cigarettes. How long does it take you to smoke a cigarette? 5 minutes? How about all the time in preparation that goes into it? What about planning how you are going to sneak out? Where you're going to smoke? Where you're going to buy the cigarettes? How you're going to wash your hands? What mouthwash will you use to gargle with? Think of the clothes you have to wash. Hey, Jolene, glad you joined me. You have to spray your clothes down before you get back inside. You have to get in your car to drive down the street. Now you have to spray the car down. Before you even get back, you are exhausted. You are overwhelmed being an addict. And this is just with cigarettes, especially if you're hiding your addiction. Hey, Jolene. Hey, Wendy. Glad you joined me. So until you step into recovery from, again, all of the different addictions that I talked about, which are more than just drugs and alcohol, you'll be an active addict. Hey, Deely. Glad you joined me. To be able to let go of an addiction is to let go of the past. And I've been talking a lot about the past the past several weeks. It means letting go of the events and letting go of the negative emotion. So that secondary emotion that you've attached to that event. And so figuring out why you do what you do is going to be very important. So for instance, if you're in sales, one of the most common challenges people in sales encounter is that when they look at the phone, hey, Abby, glad you joined me, or the lead list, their neurons that fire and wire together start creating a way to avoid rejection. But it's not really about rejection. It's about past events when they were judged. It's about past events or feelings that are not serving them well right now. It's about being criticized. It's about being called on the carpet. It's about having to validate, explain, or justify themselves. It's all those secondary emotions. It's really not just about being rejected. Hey, Brittany, glad you joined me. But when you understand why you do what you do, you have the opportunity through consciousness and awareness and are able to then let go. You cannot let go when you're in denial. When you focus on addressing the effect of your addiction, you will overlook the cause. So that's really an important thing to think about. And you cannot let go of the ghost from your past if you don't know what the ghost is. So again, if you're finding this helpful, give me some thumbs up, give me some loves, let me know that you're finding this to be helpful. Hey, Lexi, glad you joined me. So again, we're talking about addictions. Addictions are much broader than just drugs and alcohol. So if you're just tuning in now, I'd encourage you to go back to the very beginning. But again, if you're finding this helpful, give me some loves, give me some thumbs up, let me know. Which takes us into addiction tolerance. And so over time, what happens is we begin to build up an addiction tolerance of our drug of choice, whether that's chaos, whether that's procrastination, whether that's an actual drug or alcohol. And when I say drug, again, I mean whatever it is that gives you that emotional high or emotional low. This can be a physical drug, but it can also be those neurochemicals that are released when you eat a candy bar, perhaps, or when you become angry or disappointed. And that tolerance happens when you no longer respond to the drug the way you did the first time you used it or experienced it. And you crave a little bit more to get that same effect. So you're always looking for a little bit more. So maybe you started out with 1 candy bar, and now you need to eat 3 candy bars to get the same effect. Or you needed just a little chaos, and now you have tons of chaos going on in your family. Hey, Paula, glad you joined me, because you need to have more and more for the addict brain to get the same effect. And that's called addiction tolerance. It's created over a long period of time. And when you're emotionally addicted to a set of events from your past, your body begins to crave and recreate situations to fulfill the feelings from your past. So it's kind of like if you think it's going to be, it'll happen. So as you encounter similar situations, that brings up feeling of abandonment, guilt, shame, rejection, anger, and other kind of low emotional energies, your tolerance increases and you need more and more. When you have a better understanding, though, of why you do what you do, you can begin to interrupt yourself mid-moment or mid-feeling to break that cycle. And that's really what I want to talk about. But if you have a high tolerance to being an addict, then it's likely you have been, an emotional addict for a long time and a large percentage of your life. Hey, Don, glad you joined me. So the following list that I'm going to read to you provides maybe some indications that you may have built up an emotional addiction tolerance. So here they go. If you are overwhelmed as a child, or if you were overwhelmed as a child and you're still overwhelmed today. If any of these hit home to you and you feel like sharing, give me thumbs up. If you're a chronic codependent, over-obligated, obligating, enabling, doing more for others and putting yourself last. If you find yourself angry frequently. If you're constantly in conflict. If you do not understand why people are always picking on you. If you brood and pout a lot. If you check out and process. If you have an unorganized or undisciplined mindset. If you have challenges getting and staying organized. And if you're chronically late. I know I can check off at least 4 or 5 of those myself. And so really be thinking about those because it really can lead to you having some form of an addiction, most likely an emotional addiction, but also could potentially be a physical addiction as well. So, many of the stories you tell yourself are byproducts of events that shaped your feelings from childhood. And so when you were never good enough growing up, you are still likely to be operating from that I'm never good enough state as an adult. In the breakthrough process that I've really been talking about, and this is from a book by Jeffrey Combs, The Breakthrough Factor, and I would really encourage you to get this book if you haven't and really work through it. It really is totally amazing, and it's really making some changes in my life as I work through it as well. But in the breakthrough process, you have to ask yourself, have I suffered enough? Am I a noble struggler? And if the answer is yes, then step out of your victim mentality. Stop avoiding transformation and step into your power. Rise to the occasion and allow yourself to be the person you know you can be. As you let go of that addiction tolerance, your objective is to separate those feelings from the events. So again, it's getting rid of those secondary emotions from the events that happen in your life that are keeping you stuck, because it's not the event anymore. You've lived through that. It's that secondary emotion of that event that you keep hanging on to. And we also need to look at our limiting beliefs. And so your beliefs are a direct reflection of events and situations that have happened in your life. And it's not only the events that shape your beliefs, but again, it's your perception of those beliefs. So we're getting back to, again, what we're saying to ourselves and how we're perceiving things. It is your thoughts that rule your actions. Your actions either create a feeling of positivity or a feeling of negativity. So if this is making sense, again, let me know. Give me some thumbs up. If you have limiting beliefs, you will also limit your ability to succeed. You're holding yourself back. Limiting beliefs really can stem from feelings of guilt and shame or other kind of low levels of consciousness based on past events again. So it all goes back to our past. These beliefs lead to not feeling good enough, not feeling capable enough, not feeling smart enough. You may feel that you will be judged or criticized. Events and your perception, hey Kimmy, glad you joined me, of the events shape your beliefs and they create your sense of certainty or uncertainty. So again, it goes back to thinking about past events, what's keeping you stuck, how you're perceiving those, and what it is on the emotion that's attached to it. Hey, Shalom, glad you're here. So here's some questions that we might need to ask. If you are absolutely, unequivocally certain that you would succeed, what would you do? So again, let me repeat that. If you are absolutely, unequivocally certain that you would succeed, what would you do? Put your answer down below if you feel like sharing. Things I've heard is I'd give it my best effort. I would do whatever I had to do. Your best effort, one day at a time, over a period of time, is what will create the action really required to break through and required for you to succeed. But worrying about the outcome and judging yourself and turning on that critical advisor in your head will keep you in the state of inaction. It'll just keep you stuck. By not taking action, you just stay in the place that keeps you safe from failing. But it also keeps you disappointed because you're not really succeeding and not moving forward. This thought process is really contradictory, and it's due to, again, those limiting beliefs that you have based on your past experiences and what your perception is of those past experiences. And so it's really important to really look at all of that your past again, what is it that's keeping you stuck? So to move out of that addicted brain, the most important beliefs to develop are that you're enough. You are lovable. That is a fundamental foundation that you need to get to. You have to be able to say, I'm enough, I'm lovable, I'm capable, I can do it, I can be it. That type of belief doesn't limit you. Instead, it attracts a whole different type of person and situation into your reality. The vibration is a much higher, and the anxiety or doubt, and you will start attracting different people when you start having a different belief about yourself. Addiction keeps you in a state of disbelief. So when do you change? When the pain is great enough, oftentimes. And you're going to have to determine when that is. When is the pain great enough for you? But when the pain is great enough, can be right here and right now. It means you have suffered enough. You understand that being that noble struggler will never take you to the land where you're wanting to get to. And as you begin to let go and no longer be in that mind state, mind-body connection, hey, Terry, glad you joined me, to the events that have shaped your feelings, you're letting go of those beliefs that no longer serve you. So these are some questions and some of your homework to go back and look at, and I'll put these up above for you as well, for you to answer to yourself. What physical and or emotional addictions do I have challenges with? Number 2 are, what are the main events from my past that have led to my addictive behavior? Number 3 is, what limiting beliefs are holding me back from breaking the addictive cycle? And what new beliefs would I have to accept to break through? So again, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, give me some thumbs up, give me some loves. If you feel this could be helpful for somebody else, please feel free to share. And again, my name is Dr. Brenda Roach. You can call me Brenda. I'm a neuropsychologist by trade, and I also have a health and wellness company where I assist people in really reaching their health and wellness goals through nutrition and through exercise and through mindset, and really, again, looking at how our thoughts are impacting our behaviors on a daily basis. So again, I hope you have a great evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. If you catch this by replay, put hashtag replay down below and let me know where you're tuning in from. Thank you, and I will be back here next Thursday evening at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. Thank you.